This week we're going to be deploying our apps, and the site that we are going to use is myasp.net. And the reason we use that is because they let you have a free account for 2 months. And you don't have to give them any credit card information. And so that's actually pretty nice. And their site is easy to navigate and easy to use. So we are definitely going to be able to get our apps deployed. That is the good news. Uh, the and I don't really consider this a bad news, but we are going to have to use Visual Studio 2019 for the deployment. And you can have both 2019 and 2022 on your machine. And you can, if you look down here, you can see I have 2019 now, and I also have 2022. So they can coexist. The only issue probably is your hard drive space. But the reason we need to deploy using 2019 is because the site that we are using for hosting works with 2019 and MVC 3.1. They can also handle Visual Studio 2022 as long as we're using .NET 6. The problem is that we're using MVC 3.1 and we're using 2022, and that is not a combination that the host handles. So our choice was either to convert our apps from MVC 3.1 to 6, which could result in all sorts of headaches that we don't want to deal with, or we can simply download Visual Studio 2019 and use that for deployment. So I chose the easier option. Uh, because we can have both versions on the machine and there are no compatibility issues, uh, downloading the 2019 version made a lot of sense. Okay, so that is what we are going to do. In order to download 2019, you actually have to find the older versions. And this little link will take you there. Now, let me see where it is there. Of course, they try to get you to download the current one, but you can scroll down and you can download an older one. And we want 2019. You may have to log into the marketplace with your Microsoft account. Just use your NMC student account if you have to log in. And here is the community version, and you can download it from here. Okay, and then when you download, you always have to select your workloads. And the only one you need is ASP.NET and web development. You do not need to turn on anything else, and that will make the download a little quicker and a little smaller. Okay, so that you need to do before you get into any of the deployment. Okay, so we are going to download it and use it. And then you can go through the lecture demo on deploying because this was actually created with the 2019 version and it will work. So let me show you. Let's see. All right, so when you guys come out here, I mean, this is actually very inexpensive if you wanted to purchase it, but you can do the free trial. And they do not require a credit card, which is nice. The limitation is you can only have one website, though. So I actually created a brand new one, and I used my Yahoo account. You can have more than one if you have multiple email accounts. They just require an email account, and it doesn't have to be a school email account. But once you create it, they may have you select a name for your site right away. they did with mine. But once you get in here, you can go to the control panel and then you'll see the name for the site. So I modified my name to root. I think I'm going to have you guys call it Playgroup, but if you want to just give it a generic name, that's fine too. But once you deploy, this is where it's going to deploy to. Okay? And so you can only have one of these. So once you get something successfully deployed, and I've corrected it, you're going to want to come in here and delete the site, and then you'll create a new one for your term project. Unless you have multiple emails, then you can just keep them up and running. Now, the directions here kind of walk you through, if you did have to create the website, there is a create new button, and then you just key in the name, how to create your database, and then some of the settings that you need to tweak. And you'll notice I included MVC and also Razor pages for those of you that are in the 255 class. If you wanted to deploy a Razor page, you could do that as well. Okay, so the directions here are for both. And then if you scroll down, you are actually going to practice this using the authentication project from last week. And there's a video you can watch that will walk you through, but it is pretty straightforward. This little project, if you guys remember, we added some authorize properties in here that you're going to have to comment out. And then you are going to have to set up your roles. So that is something that is not going to carry over. So you'll have to add administrator, manager, user. Okay. And then once you do that, you'll be able to come into parents and see detail, but everything else is going to require that you log in. Okay. So then you're going to register. Okay. And so these are the different roles, and you're going to have to add those. And then this works just like it did offline. Okay, so there's really no difference there. Okay, and this pretty much walks you through how to do that. Once you get this thing deployed, then you're going to put a link to the URL here. Okay, so I want a link directly to your live app where I'm going to go out and test it. Once I test it, I will let you know so that you can then get rid of that one and work on your term project, because you're going to want to get that deployed as well. So the first step here is getting your authentication app deployed. And then once you get that deployed, then you are going to deploy your term project. And that really should be all that you have left. Everything else should be done on that term project. So it's just a matter of getting it deployed. And it's going to be the same basic steps that we used for deploying the authentication app. Once you get that term project deployed, you're going to put a link to that project here. And then you can work on your showcase. And for the showcase, you need a PowerPoint, and then you also need a video. The video is you're going to demo your site and go through the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint itself, you're going to upload to this Dropbox. The video is going to go into our discussion forum for your showcase. So what you need to add here is a link to your deployed app, and you need to upload the video. Okay, and that needs to be done by December 11th. Then for the next week, your classmates will be able to look at your app, watch your video, and give you some feedback. Okay, and the feedback is due at the very end of the semester, okay, the 17th, 11:59 p.m. And that is at the end. Nothing after that, we are done. Okay, so that's pretty much what we are going to be working on this week. And of course, the feedback is not due until next week. So if you have problems with deployment, I can probably help you, but you will definitely need to see me in live stream or make an appointment because I'm going to have to see what's happening. It's going to be really hard for me to help you by you describing it. Um, for your showcase, for your term project, when you are doing your video, if for some reason you can't get your app deployed, um, just do the video with it offline. Okay. If you look, the actual deployment itself is worth 10 points. So everything else is worth a heck of a lot more than the deployment. So if something happens and it doesn't deploy, you're not going to fail. You just need to make sure you get everything else done. Okay. And for the showcase, I want a demo of your app. I mean, awesome if you can do the live app, but if for some reason that didn't work for you, you need to demo the working app, okay, and go through your PowerPoint. If you can't get it deployed, then for the showcase, give people a link to your GitHub repo and along with your video, okay? So that's pretty much what we have going on this week. And again, if you guys have questions or need help, please let me know.